I can't tell.
Hey everyone.
What up, what up, what up?
Welcome back to another episode of Insert Subject Here. I am Makia.
And I am scared.
And this week we are having story time. So settle on in with something hot, something iced, or something spiked, and let's get this party started.
And don't call the police.
So how are you this week, Anthony?
I'm groovy. How about yourself?
You know, I am.
Well, that's something.
It's you know, the weeks are all starting to kind of blur together at this point.
It's a lot going on, a lot of movement.
It is, but before we get into that, housekeeping. Did you subscribe to this page yet? Make sure you like this video. Turn the notification bell on. And keep the conversation going in the comment section below. So, we have received a request for story time.
Story time.
So we are going to just kick off some stories this
story
week.
time. First of all, before we get into them stories, though, I wanted to say today is Wednesday, the 21st. So happy birthday to Dame Dorse.
First of all, let me explain to you all.
Look at story time started early.
Story time started early. So we were supposed to celebrate a friend of ours' birthday on Saturday. I had the wrong date down, and so we missed the soiree, but we had some other stuff that was going on too. And he sent out a series of messages in a group text that we have. And it was like he said, I was like, oh. So apparently it was just a cluster band, because I don't want to say the F word. It was a cluster band.
I've beeped you before. Boop. Got the little beep. Okay, go ahead. Shut up.
Where all of the friends just so happened to miss this soiree. And he let us have it.
Oh, yeah. Rightfully so. But he let us have it.
But we're gonna celebrate this weekend. Yeah. So happy birthday, Dame.
So Dame, take that as her apology. That's what that was just now. Aside from that, I did want to say I want to send prayers out for Tank, the R&B artist Tank. He's actually lost hearing in his right ear.
Oh.
And it's something that, like, he's one of the most underrated artists in my opinion. We'll go through his catalog at another time, though, because we get into the good story time. But he's underrated to me because he writes, he sings, and the people he writes for, you'd be surprised. He wrote for Marion, Marcus Houston, Jamie Foxx, Keisha Cole, Ruben, a couple other people, and the bigger hits for those people. But he's been quietly, and I say quietly because he doesn't have a big following on social media, he's been quietly going through therapies to try to gain back the hearing in his right ear. Oh, okay. And I haven't seen it covered anywhere, so I just wanted to send prayers out to Tank because I like Tank, man.
Yeah, Tank is pretty cool when we.
And last but certainly not least, Dwayne Haskins and Calabria Gonzedrick Haskins. So, she must have been listening to Casanova 2 times, set tripping, because she hit him in his face and knocked the boy teeth out. Like, left his teeth in the hotel room. So you might not know the backstory. This young lady is sister of a famed WNBA player, Kasiri Gondrezic. I said it right, slow, but right. And Dwayne Haskins married her. And they got married in like March, but they went to renew their vows in July. Red flag number 1, I think. We got married in March and you're renewing your vows in July. But anyway, in Vegas.
Depends.
In Vegas. You went to Vegas to renew your vows?
I mean, they might have got married in a courthouse. We don't know where they got married at.
So they took it to another courthouse in Vegas?
I mean.
It's fair. So they went to Vegas to renew their vows. And allegedly, they were doing like another bachelorette night. And he went to a club without her and she was angry. So she came back to the room and knocked his teeth out.
You know, I'm going to hold my comments on that.
The only comment I had was some have been here more than others. Listen, so let's get into the story time thing.
Lead the way, good sir.
Lead the way. All right. Let me change. Sorry. Hold on, people.
What is this? What is going on here?
All right. My eyes are hidden. No emotion can be showed. This is my poker face as I talk. Don't send help. I don't need help.
Wait, what?
Did I ever tell y'all about the time Makia tried to choke the life out of me?
First of all, it was not a choke. It was a tight hug.
Around my neck.
First of all, I didn't know it was around his neck.
So let me give some backstory. So we went to a party. And at said party, there was a miscommunication. The miscommunication, in my opinion, can't see my eyes, was that my wife wasn't listening to everything that was being said.
I wasn't. I'll take that. I did not.
So because she wasn't listening to everything that was being said, we found ourselves in a predicament.
Oh, it was an entanglement.
So, after the predicament, we decided we're getting out of this party. We're leaving. So we left.
No. Let me back this thing up. This is Makia. This is Anthony. This is my shoulder. I was like, let me collect my belongings.
For clarity, the tap wasn't that hard.
Where are my glasses?
The tap was not that hard. So we left and we got home. And you can't see my eyes because it's poker face. And when I got home, we were recapping the miscommunication that occurred
In a very heated
way. And it got so heated that I don't. She's painted this picture of me of having this temper. I don't have a temper, but I was just like, I need to go. I can't even say the word because I'm scarred. I need to go get air.
Okay, so insert Makia here. There was some libations that were in the mix. So some times in our lives, we don't hear things the way they're spoken to us. So he said air. I thought he said I'm out of here. So
now hold on, y'all. Comment below. Does air? I need to go get some air. Sound like I'm out of here. Well, comment below. Let me know. I could be crazy.
Can I just insert Makia here? So my father went out and got some cigarettes one time. He said I'm going to get some cigarettes.
So anyway, so in the process of me going to get some air, I stood up because we were having this heated exchange while lying in the bed. So it wasn't too heated.
No.
And once I stood up, Makia said, "Where are you going?" And at that moment, I realized I was in danger because I had just told her I was going to get some air, but I didn't know if I wanted to repeat it or not. So at this moment, I just didn't say anything. And she proceeded to say stop. And I don't know what she was saying stop for, but I was like, getting out of this room. And this little lady wraps her arms. So I'm standing up. My back is to her. She wraps her arms around my neck and pulls back with all her weight. I collapse to the bed. Notice she's not saying anything but looking at me because none of this is a lie. I collapse to the bed and I'm telling her, I can't breathe.
Okay, again, I had my libation earmuffs on, so I did not hear him. I just was like, just stay with me. I just, that cartoon, I just love you so much, I just want to squeeze you.
You and love you and hug you and squeeze you all up. And Daddy.
That's all. It was just a hug.
So in the midst of this hug, I'm losing consciousness. So I know my wife very well. We know each other's buttons. We're best friends, so we knew the dirty parts of us before we got to see the good parts of us. And I know she doesn't like embarrassment. And I realized if I can just touch the hem of that front door, I could be all right. So I am proceeding to pull myself to my feet, woozy now because oxygen isn't getting up here. And I'm walking down the steps, and she is still holding on around my neck.
Oh, I just love you so much.
And I'm fighting because I can see the door. And I believe I'm walking like this with my hand at the door. And she has wrapped her legs around my waist. And I'm thinking, I can't go out like this. And I grabbed the door handle, and like I knew, immediately, she jumped off my back and let me go.
So I don't like for people to know when we are disagreeing. And so I didn't want to make a scene and have our neighbors like, what are they over there doing? Now, have you ever heard the story of like a parent lifts a car up off of their child?
That happened.
I can honestly say I did not know my own strength. But I did not know that I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt like I was just hugging him like, no, stay, let's talk it out. You don't need that milk. Don't go get the milk.
And the worst part is, after we spoke about it, it took about 2 days for us to talk about it. 2 days later, when we finally talked about it, she was like, I don't know what I heard you say, but I didn't know I was choking you. And I was like, so when I was like, I can't breathe, she was like, I didn't hear anything, but you just keep repeating, I'm going to get air. And I was like, oh, all right, I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, so, moral of the story, communication is key.
Don't get air, fellas.
Communication is key.
You go get air, you going to lose your air.
Moving on.
Okay.
Do you remember last week when we talked about Wendy Williams? By the way, she did not issue an apology.
Well, I lost because she didn't.
So back in June of 2016, I had won tickets to go on the Wendy Williams show. Oh, I was so excited. And of course, I took my best friend and I said, we won tickets. We're going to see Wendy. Now,
I'm not battered for this one.
First of all, I had been to New York as a child on a bus trip, and it went again like when I was a teenager on Canal Street, and it was a bus trip.
I've never been to Canal Street though,
so I didn't realize it was a small fortune to get to New York. It was like $200 in tolls and stuff.
Big facts.
So then we finally arrived to the big city, and they're pulling out like parade gates. So I'm like, Anthony, oh my God, it's a parade coming.
So insert me. So we're staying in Manhattan on 7th Street in the middle of the city.
Yes.
So I'm just like, okay. Like you could walk to everything. It looked like everything was in about a couple blocks radius. But this is the perfect spot. My babe hit a home run with this.
Right.
So continue.
We went down the night before so that we could like experience the city and all of that. And so we also were ill prepared. We did not know about the parking situation. So I had us a reservation at a hotel. So I'm thinking, you got hotel parking. Wrong.
$70 for valet for the day.
So I was like, we ain't paying no $70.
You better not take your car out.
And then the parking is like in an alley, and they like raise your car up.
Yeah, man.
So I'm just watching the car raise, like, I don't know how secure this is. So we go in, and we were going to the Museum of SEX. So I plotted it all out. Like, we're going to do the touristy things. So we go in, and we shower, and we come back out, and we're like,
music is bumping.
Wait, what's going
on here? And it's a gajillion people.
Like, it was like, in 5 minutes, you ever turn your light on and the roaches just start scattering? So that's how it was just so many people out. And then I was like, Anthony, is that a nipple?
Let's pan to me. Get on my face. I am walking down the street flabbergasted that it is topless women just woo woo! They have painted their bodies, but not covering anything.
Right.
They like painted sayings on their bodies, and there's police officers on every corner. So me, because I have a question, Mr. Officer, they don't have tops on, and he was like, "We let this happen for this day."
It was a pride parade. It was floats. It was so magical. So we just stood there and watched like, look at this. Would you look at this? I mean, the floats were just so extravagant. Everybody was having a good time. The only issue I have is that you have to walk down 15 blocks.
So to get to the Museum of SEX was across the street, down a block. So we literally would cross 7th Avenue, 7th Street, walk down to the middle of the block, and walk into the museum.
Correct.
But because the parade was going on, we couldn't cross 7th Avenue.
So we had to trek down like 15 blocks.
15 blocks this way.
To cross over.
To come 15 blocks this way. That was an experience. The museum was dope too. So
the museum was
you have
super
up there,
dope.
this museum is super dope. It's not what you think, but it's dope.
Yeah.
It's super duper dope. But that 38 miles that we walked to get there, probably wouldn't do that again.
Well, it was tired. I was like,
Who else would get us to New York during Pride Week?
who but me?
That's fun.
So the next morning we get up and I had this long email from the Wendy staff of like what you can wear and when to be there and where to go and what to do and all of this
Share
stuff.
that with me though, because I was up there anyway.
So I'm like all bright. I got my lace front.
Bright yellow.
I'm ready because I want to be on the show. So we get there and
Did you say I got my lace front?
I did though. I can see it in the picture. So we get there, and like this garage door opens because I'm thinking like we're gonna go up some steps. No, this garage door opens and we go down this like slippery slope.
They go down into the garage.
Into the garage, and they like check you in and everything, and make sure that you have tickets, and then you're invited into like the waiting area. And she's got refreshments and mirrors and things so you can primp and prep and all this stuff. I mean, it was cool.
It was cool.
And little music's playing. So the night before was the BET Awards. So one of her staff came out and was like, "Hey, who want to sound off about the BET Awards?" So everybody's just kind of sitting there. She was like, nobody has anything to say. So I was like, I'll say something. So everyone that said they wanted to say something, they brought you to like a back area of the garage. And so then they give you this paper and tell you anything that you say or write down or whatever can be used on the show, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
Translation, we can steal your jokes.
Basically. So you had to write down what you were going to say, and then you had to audition in front of like some more cast members. So
Don't this sound sketchy?
But I'm like, hey, we're here. Let's go with it. So I get in front of the cast member, and I'm talking about, what was her name? Fantasia.
Yes.
Fantasia did a performance, and I'm like, oh, Fantasia took me to church with her performance, blah, 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 blah. So they be like, you did good. Write that down, and then we're going to call you back. So I go back, and I tell Anthony, I'm like, okay, they told me write it down. So
meanwhile, I'm sitting there like, you just gave Wendy material.
And I'm like, So I write it down. So then you have to go, and they like narrowed it down with some people. They called some people back. So you had to kind of like do it again. And so they liked me, and they were like, who are you here with? I said, my husband. They were like, come get him and bring him to this back area. So I go get him, and we go to the back area. And then they line us up, and they put us on this huge elevator.
I swear that joint carried like 50 of us upstairs.
Yeah, it did. And so we go up with all of the people that either had VIP treatment or were doing jokes or saying something, whatever the case may be. And as soon as we get to the top and the doors open, the music is blasting.
Bruh.
Her DJ is rocking.
He's rock. It's like a day party.
Yes.
Like he was rocking, but it's a day party at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Like it was up, and it was stuck.
So they took us through like where she comes out at. So you're going through like the back area, and then you get to another person, and they looking at what you have on and scattering you around the audience. So they told us to go sit. We were fairly close on the right-hand side. Yeah. So then they told me to come back again. So I had to go back to the backstage area here and audition again. And so then they were
Round two.
right. So they told me, no, we're not going to use you, but thanks anyway. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I go and I sit with Anthony and I'm like, hey, they're not going to use me. So I'm just going to come sit here. So,
And I'm thinking it's cool because, listen, we got these closed seats now. We
Right.
ain't got to work too hard to get out. We can see her. All right, that's cool.
So they come through and they're telling you, hey, we're going live. You got to turn off all cell phones. Make sure you keep your face together and stuff because at any time we can go to you in the audience. So we're like, okay.
Cool.
So show is going on and she does her beginning part. And
this me the whole time.
and this me the whole time.
She was doing the absolute most.
So then she gets and she's talking about the BET Awards. And she's like, yeah, and Fantasia took me to church. And I was like, so we're live. So I'm trying to look over at Anthony like.
And this is me. Because I knew she stole a joke.
I was like.
And she was so disappointed, though. And I felt so bad for my babe. Because I saw it coming and I'm trying to tell her this is what's going to happen. And she was like, no, Wendy wouldn't.
And it was like the way I auditioned it was the way
Exactly
she
she
said
told
it. And I was like.
And the whole crowd laughed.
So yeah, and now, but I understand. Not saying that it's right, but I understand. Like you have to come up with material on the fly. However, I would have liked a little piece of coin or a giveaway or
Give me a little T-shirt or something. They sent us out there with some memories. Here goes some memories for your good joke. That was an experience.
it's definitely.
I wish I would have taken a picture of her face after the joke was stolen because she was just like.
And Anthony's sitting right here, so I'm trying to make eye contact. Like, yeah.
Do you hear this? You hear this ish? She just stole. She just stole my. That was priceless, man. That was a good time.
That was a good time.
So I'm saying, if you want to experience New York for the first time, find out when Pride Weekend is and just go.
It was
The parade, though. You got to go when the parade is happening because it was everything. It was everywhere. It was.
And it was so lively. Everybody was so happy and friendly. And they were just so carefree and just into the music, the floats. And all of the major companies, Disney
was there.
Wells Fargo. It was just like, amazing.
Wow. It was pretty dope. I will say I had a great time because I'm a people watcher, and it was prime people watching.
And O'Day was picking with the police like,
yeah. It was just like they did dances around them. This is the booby dance. Mr. Officer, look at me. And you had to just stand there like.
Right.
Like, no, bro. Man. So I have another joke. I mean, I have another story time.
But
I'm going to save it.
Yeah.
I'm going to save it. So I'm going to just tell y'all to remind us. When y'all remind us enough about the looking for boots story, I'll go ahead.
Don't you do it. Please don't do it.
So if y'all want the looking for boots story, just comment. Flood the comments and say looking for boots, and we'll figure out a way to get that story time to you, whether we got to do a little bonus episode or whether we just got to go live and talk about it and answer some questions with y'all. We'll get that out there, but you got to flood the comments, though.
So, Anthony.
Yo.
What do you have for us today?
I can't see nothing. Oh, Jesus. Meek Mill tweeted today, and I quote, "We got to find a way to make therapy cool for the black community." Let me read it again. We got to find a way to make therapy cool for the black community. He tweeted that. I looked at that immediately as him pandering. We all know mental health is a serious problem that plagues all communities, but especially black communities due to lack of resources. Meek Mill's biggest platform is music. Not Twitter, not Instagram, not Facebook, not writing self-help books. It's music. When he got locked up on a technicality, he came out and his music was about prison reform. Still has been. He didn't tweet anything about it. He sung about it. My grandmother always used to tell me, all attention ain't good attention. I don't think Meek Mill thought about this outside of pandering to the mental health craze. But I think he didn't realize don't nobody tune into his Twitter for knowledge. I'm not listening to Meek Mill to be uplifted or to learn something better. I'm listening to hear dreams unfold and nightmares do too. You feel me? Like, I'm not listening for anything lyrical miracle from Meek. But when he he can hide a theme into his music, I believe. I wonder what Meek thinks about this. Said no one in the history of existence. So, listen, Meek, because I know you're watching, just like I know Savon from the Joe Budden podcast is watching. See my picture. They posted it. The next time you think to open your Twitter and drop some knowledge on us, close your Twitter, open your notes, and make a rhyme, because your voice is loudest in your music. I'm not telling you shut up and dribble. I'm telling you use the right platform for the right thing if you're sincere about it. That's all I got.
So I have a question. Is it me, or when you go into the doctor's office, do you get asked at least 2 times, at least 1 time, what brings you in today? When I called and made the appointment, or when you told me I got a follow-up appointment, it was noted in my chart. You had me sitting here for 15 to 20 minutes. I know you had time to read the chart. So I say I'm going to bless someone's Cash App. I'm going to give you $20 for the best excuse for going to the doctor's office. So when my doctor came in and said, what brings you in today? I said, I just ain't want to go to work. So I wanted to come get a doctor snoop so I could have a sick day. And so he looked at me and I said,
it's all jokes. There's all jokes for everybody that works with her that watches this. It's all jokes.
I mean, I legit had an appointment, but I just decided I was going to play. So this week's hashtag your best response for going to the doctor, should you be asked.
Listen, and we blessing Cash App. Shout out to Carla McKenzie and Sina Morris for participating in our first Thirst Trap Thursdays. Erica Badu set that off, and you know, we blessed their Cash App with a little something because they if you didn't read that story, head on over to the Facebook page. Yeah. Good love and make you do some things, huh, peoples? Woo.
So when you do your hashtag, do your Cash App too.
Hey, I like that. So this is a good episode.
Oh, that's a good episode.
With that being said, I'm Ant.
And I'm very calm today.
And thanks for stopping by to talk some issues today.
Bye.
Peace.